Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.
Hello. Boom. This is Jared and I'm back. Hey guys, I'm super excited, all right, to do this video tonight, all right? I've had this on my mind for like so long, and I'm glad I've got the chance now to seriously to do this, all right? So I've seen way too many people get suspended from sharing their post to multiple Facebook groups. All right. And man, so when that happens, it's extremely frustrating. All right. Especially for those that are advocating, for those that are trying to help raise awareness. All right. So, man, I'm super excited that I can do this because I really feel as though this could be extremely insightful. It can really help people so that they're not getting getting suspended or getting in trouble with Facebook. So, hey, I wanted to give a shout out to Shamika Smalls. I also want to give a shout out to Steve Belcher. I want to give a special shout out to David Pollock. All right. Hey, thank you everyone for tuning in. So listen, again, so what I'm going to be talking about tonight, all right, is some alternatives. All right, so some different ideas, some thoughts and tips on how to share your post to Facebook groups. Making sure that we're doing this in a smart way. All right. So that we're doing this in such a way that you're not getting reprimanded. So you're not getting it, landing yourself in Facebook prison or Facebook jail. Right. And so that's the whole reason why I want to do this tonight. So y'all know what time it is. All right. I'm Jared A. Brown. I'm the host of the Warriors Quest show. And I'm going to talk to you about what not to do with Facebook groups. All right. So I've got a special co host, but he's running a little behind. So once he comes in, I'll introduce him as well. But in the meantime, we're going to rock and roll. All right. So please, y'all know what we do. Don't be stingy. Smash that share button. All right. That's how we can get things rolling. So smash it. All right, let's get that going. All right. We want to make sure that we're showing everybody, all right, we're showing everybody this valuable information about what not to do in Facebook groups. All right. So we're going to get this rolling. All right. So I'm going to, here we go. see if we can get this going. There we go. All right, little ambiance. All right. So thank you, Steve Belcher, for sharing in groups. And David Pollock, man, I'm doing well. Thank you, my brother. And so I'm gonna I'm gonna share kind of like a hey Shane Blanchard. Thank you, man. thanks thanks for watching, Shane. Um, Shane from Midwest Kidney Warriors, and Shamika Smalls. Thank you for sharing. So, all right. So, if you just tuned in, we're here to talk to you about what not to do with Facebook groups. I was inspired when I read a blog, an article in a blog, and so it inspired me so much that I started researching and studying statistics a little bit more about this. All right, but I've got my special co-host, so I'm going to bring him in. Just sitting here celebrating a Hawkeye victory. That's cool, Shane. All right, guys. So I'm going to bring in my special co-host. He just arrived. All right, so bear with me just a moment while I bring him in. Y'all know what we do. We do a VIP and we do a co-host video intro. So give a very special Warriors Quest show welcome, all right, to Jonathan Traylor. Here we go, co-host. Jonathan Traylor, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm vibing out, man. I love that. I love that.
All right, man. Thank you. All right, so Shane Blanchard right there saying, "What up, Jet?" Um,
What's up, Shane, brother?
sporting the Dallas Cowboys hat too, man. I love it.
Yeah, we're finally winning, so I had to sport
Yeah,
them.
nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
All right, so I shared with you the article that I read, and what did you think about it? Well, let me before you answer that question, I want to share with people the I'm going to share the link in the chat here from the blog so that they can look it up as well. So it's from here we go. Kyle Hawkridge, thanks for watching, my brother. All right, here we go. So I just shared it here in the group chat. So it's from Miranda. All right, Miranda. I'm not sure how to exactly say her last name. It's Namias, something like that. Miranda Namias. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So forgive me if I've said it wrong. I'm going to give her credit in the description of this video. After I'm finished, I'm going to plug in the links and everything. But you had a moment to read over that last night when I shared it with you. What did you think
Mm-hmm.
about that?
I thought it had some great perspectives of what to do and what not to do in a Facebook group. She definitely hit on some points that I know I agree with. A few, that I kind of question a little bit. I had my own opinion on, but
Yeah.
the points that she was hitting on, I definitely agreed with most of what she was saying. I thought it was an interesting article. Definitely take the time to read that article. It's definitely and it's not that long. It's a quick read.
Right, it is, yeah. So shout out
Hmm.
to my twin brother Jeff watching. Thanks for tuning in. I know it might be a little early your time. So I you know, I think it's open for discussion a little bit, and we'll go through this and kind of get to the meat and potatoes of it.
Sure.
Some of the things I really liked, and I think it makes a lot of sense. And
Hmm.
so I'd like to ask everybody to keep an open mind when we're reading this, and going over it, because I think that if we do that, we can always learn if we keep an open mind. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. Always keep an open mind. You can always learn something new, right?
exactly. Yeah. So please don't be stingy. All right. Please share this. Don't be stingy. Smash it. All right. So I'm gonna I'm gonna start this video, and I'll pause it when in between slides here. So here we go. Let me pause that because I'm going to show us in a different way. Here we go. All right, we're going to be small. I'm going to drag this over here. There we go. All right, we'll be small. We'll play small ball.
All right.
Little
All
drag
right.
and drop. Okay. All right.
All
So
right.
here we go, guys. So 4 mistakes not to make in Facebook groups. And this is my inspiration, all right, from the blog article that I read from Miranda Namias. All right. So here we go. So, all right. So as we go to the table of contents here, introduction, obviously I'm introducing it because I've been inspired by what I've read in this blog by Miranda. And disclaimer, all right off the bat, is that some of these things that she's talking about I've done. All right, so I'm I'm full of guilt, and I'm not professing to be perfect. I'm not professing to have never made any of these errors. Simply something we're going to be talking about. So just a disclaimer that this is something that I found interesting, and something that I found from this blog, and we'll be going over it. And again, it's a really good it's a good, very insightful blog. So here we go. All right. The mistake number 1 is posting the same thing into multiple Facebook groups. Number 2, all right, keeping your personal page on private. Mistake number 2. All right. And the mistake number 3, not listing your Facebook business page as your place of work. And then mistake number 4, not introducing yourself when you join a new group. And then the last 2, hashtag and tagging. I added those myself. Those are not from the blog.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So please continue to drop a comment and ask questions while we're doing this, you guys. All right. So here we're going to the next slide here. Okay. All right. So we're going to go over mistake number 1 that I read from this blog: posting the same thing into multiple Facebook groups. All right. So again, this is my inspiration from having read the blog. Uh, Her website, it's from Miranda Namias. All right. So in her blog, it reads, I'm going to go ahead and assume that when most people think about mistakes in Facebook groups, this is one of the first things that pop into their head. There's nothing more annoying than scrolling through your feed, your Facebook home feed, all right, and seeing, all right, and then coming across a huge chunk of the exact same post that someone shared in multiple different Facebook groups. All right, so Jonathan, um, when you
Yeah.
read that, have you seen that before? Do you know what she means by that?
Yeah, I've seen it before. Actually, Jared, I'm guilty of it as
I
well.
know I am too. I've done it too. Sure.
I'm guilty as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's a dual. This is a dual-sided deal because as a creator, you want to get your stuff out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but sometimes I think it needs to be a happy medium where you got to ask yourself, at what point is it too much, right? Because it does become annoying when you see the same post in the same group in the same pages. It's like, oh man, I've seen this 10 times already.
Right.
But again, the flip side of it is, as a creator, I can appreciate it because you are trying to get your stuff out there and you want it to be seen.
Right.
So there's got to be a happy medium with it. But
Mm-hmm.
I do agree it can be annoying, and we're all guilty of it as creators, and people are influencers trying to get a message, especially in the kidney community. We're all trying
Right.
to get
Building awareness. Yeah.
yeah, we're trying to get our info out there, but sometimes I think it can be a little overwhelming, a little too much, and come off a little arrogant at times. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
so you just got to ask yourself the question. I think to keep the frame of mind is how much is too much?
Yes, yes. And then just and And just think before you post it, like, how is this going to look? Or, how can I do this in a smarter, more effective way? So
Yeah.
anyway, right off the bat, this is the first paragraph that she talks, that I've shared here, or that I read from her blog, and it made a lot of
Mhm.
sense to me. So when you think about it, all right, if you're seeing the exact same post in multiple Facebook groups, what that means, okay, is that somebody sharing it, all right, in the same Facebook groups that you're already a member. Because otherwise, all right, you wouldn't see it. You know what I mean? Because you have to
Yeah.
be a member of the same Facebook group in order to see the same post from
Right.
that person in multiple Facebook groups.
Right.
You know what I
And,
mean?
yeah, and the thing is a lot of us are in the same Facebook group, so we are going to see it multiple times because we're all involved in the kidney community. So a lot of us are in the same Facebook group, so we see the post and the creativity, in the same Facebook group. So it does become repetitive.
Yes, it can be repetitive, and if it looks that way to us, all right, then absolutely the algorithm, Facebook's algorithm, all right, is going to see it like that, all right, because
Yep.
they see it a little bit more clearly than we do. Because,
It,
as you said, we have aspirations and we've got all these good intentions when we're doing it.
and another thing too is the alternative, and it does cost a little bit, but efficiently, you can boost a post. So boosting is a great alternative to over posting in Facebook groups
Right,
if you
right.
if you can afford it. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
but I mean, even $10 can boost it out there pretty good and
Right.
get it out there. And what that
You're
does
right.
is that
Good point.
brings it brings it into another algorithm and crowd of people that normally wouldn't see your post.
Good point. Now, Shamika Smalls, I think she manages, or she's an admin on a Facebook page. I know that
Hmm.
she's an admin on a Facebook group, but I'd like
Hmm.
to hear her feedback as well. And Kyle Hawkridge, of course, is. He's listing. You can read the comments here as well.
Hmm.
He's saying that have 2 or 3 copies with the same message, and then rotate, change colors and photo. Some great comments from Kyle right here, and change the description at the top of the post. There we go. And
So
Shane saying, I will share the post on my group page with other groups if it fits with, and then it's blank. So he must not have been finished. Kidney disease unfiltered. That's right. Thanks, Shamika. So we're going to go forward to the next slide, and it's going to go
no,
into
those are great tips
great
though.
points, great tips.
Changing the text, the info up a little bit, rewording it, or changing the color of the picture. That's a great tip. So
Yes. All right. So this is just an example, everyone. When this is a picture of a mobile feed, and you can see that it's blacked out, so you don't know the name of um, the name of the person that's sharing in these Facebook groups. But this is how it looks. All right. You can see this is just two examples, but I'm sure if we were to scroll, if someone had done it like, anywhere from 10 times, and you're a member of those same groups, you're scrolling down and you see the same post and the same exact thing. And
hmm
so, so what she's saying here, the author of this blog, is that this is something that screams spammy to me.
right.
All right. So I'll read a little bit further, and continue to comment, everybody, because I want your input on this. I think we can all learn from this, and just again, please keep an open mind. So, for me, in almost all circumstances, this is something that screams spammy to me. Again, this is from Miranda Namias. When someone does this, it just kind of seems like they want to get a bunch of eyes on what they have to say, and they don't care about the consequences. It also kind of makes me think that this person is a lazy Facebook group member. They didn't want to take the time to craft separate posts for each group, so they just cross posted one thing to all of their groups instead. There are a few exceptions to this rule. One big one that comes to mind is if you have a really important question and you really want an answer right now. in that circumstance, I could definitely forgive cross posting, and I'll care even less if you actually disclose in the post that you've cross posted in other places. That gets my respect. So Shamika Smalls wrote here in the chat, I tried to target different groups with a different audience. I like that.
No, that's great. That's great. And I'm guilty of everything in this one. I'm guilty of. So you're preaching to me.
Yeah. So Shane Blanchard says that you look pretty tiny. He says if you could turn your phone sideways, maybe we can see you a little bit better.
Yeah, I could try that, Shane. Let's see.
I know it
Nope,
works
it's
for
not working too well.
All right, some phones do that. A lot of them do. I
Yeah.
have a lot of my guests that use their mobile phone. I ask them to do that, but so at any rate, I like this example because this photo shows you exactly what we're talking about when you're looking at your feed, and you can see that it can look that way, and I can understand why she might say that. And so
Yeah.
this begs the question: is then if it looks spammy to her, then Facebook, obviously it's going to look spammy to Facebook and the algorithm. Then how can we do it differently? How can we do it more effectively? Again, Shmika Smalls makes up a great point. She says, I try to target different groups with a different audience. I like that. So
No, that's a great one. That's a great tip.
It is. All right, I'm going to go to the next slide here. Okay. So what to do instead? Y'all didn't think I was going to leave you hanging, did I? Did you? All right. So on the second or third pass, you lose my attention. So Kyle Hawkridge, Kyle, if you would explain what you mean by that, like on the second or third pass, you lose my attention. Are you saying, Kyle, that if you see the same thing 3 or 4 times, then you're not going to pay attention to it anymore? All right. So, and
Yeah.
Shamika's saying right here, Facebook doesn't make it easy anymore to post to multiple groups. They don't, which is why I think this video that we're doing right now is extremely insightful, because we're going to talk about how we can do it a little bit more correctly and better. Yeah, Kyle says that's correct. All right, there we go, Jonathan, full screen. Granted, we're still small screen, but because we're taking up most of the screen with the video here, or the slideshow, but nonetheless. All right, so everybody continue to comment. I think we can really learn from this. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So this is inspired once again by a blog that I read from Miranda Namias. All right. So she's reading, it reads right here from her blog, what to do instead. All right. And this is her words. Girl, did you think I was going to leave you hanging? All right. I'd never outright recommend that you absolutely not do something without having a really great alternative for you. So she's going to tell us right here what to do instead. So if you're someone that does want to save time and energy by cross posting to multiple groups, just make sure that you do it in a way that limits the amount of people who will see it more than once. All right. So one of the ways to do that she's talking about, okay, is picking, like, in my opinion, okay, this is just my opinion, what she means. I'd like to hear your feedback, everyone else, and please comment what you all think she means. But I think she means, and this is what I'm taking from it, is that pick your favorite groups, okay? And most of the time it's good, all right, to pick. We've learned in other marketing strategies that it's good to pick a niche, all right, Facebook groups that match what your niche is, right? So kidney disease. And so typically it would be good to share in kidney disease Facebook groups. So that may not be a bad idea, because it might get shared more, because that's what we all have in common. However, all right, what I think, going back to what I think she means right here, is if you do that in just kidney disease Facebook groups, then again, it's going to start that cycle of everybody seeing it in their feed because we all share in these groups, right,
Mhm.
Jonathan?
Yep, we sure do.
Yeah. So try to pick different groups to share to. And the ones that I would share to would be the ones with a lot. I mean, a just almost like thousands of
Right,
members.
right.
Okay. Find your large ponds, all right, oceans, so
Yeah,
to speak, right?
yeah,
Um, okay, I get it. All right. It's not bad to share everyone every now and then to a small Facebook group because you want to help them grow. All right.
yep.
Those little Facebook groups that are small, we need to help them grow. All right. But 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 it makes more sense to share, all right, your post to a large Facebook group. All right. There are some where they have 300,000 Facebook members in a group. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, find the ones that have a lot. That way, when you share it to that group, it's gonna make a bigger impact, right?
And Jared, I've came across recently some in the kidney disease community that have thousands of them in them that
Yes.
I didn't even know existed. And
Yes.
I just recently became members of. So
I'm losing you. I lost your audio there, Jonathan. Can I still hear you? All right. So one of the kidney disease Facebook groups that has a lot, all right, a lot of followers, a lot of members it's a Facebook group called Kidney Disease. And I'm going to try to find the link here. It's so that I can share it while we're live. Okay, I know it's in here somewhere. All right. And I think I may have invited you to become a member of that group, Jonathan. All right. I lost Jonathan for a moment, so I'm going to bring him back. Hopefully, he's going to log out and log back in. All right. So anyway, my point being is, if you can find Facebook groups that are large, one of them that I found that has a lot of Facebook group members. It is mostly It's mostly, people that this Facebook group is based out of India or somewhere else, but it is kidney disease related. It's called Kidney Disease, and it's a Facebook group, and it has a lot of members. All right. So again, we want to share to the ones that are small, okay, because we want to help them grow. But make your post count. All right. So we're going to go to the next slide. All right, we've got some great comments coming too. Kyle says, I advise find groups that you have interest in. Could be a sports team, but always interact with that group before requesting to post your need for a kidney. Yes, and we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that because that's going to be one of our slides. All right, so the next one, keeping your posts, keeping your personal page on private. There was a time where I did this, okay, and it was for personal reasons, okay, and this has been over 5 years ago or something, but it was for
right.
personal reasons. But if you're advocating for people, all right, trying to help people find a living kidney donor or a living liver donor, or you're trying to build awareness, or if you're watching this video tonight and it's not necessarily about kidney disease and you're just wanting to learn more about what not to do in Facebook groups, all right, then you probably are marketing in some way. And if you are, it's a very good idea not to make your personal page private.
Right.
All right.
Because then it's hard to find, right?
Yes, it is.
Yep. Yep.
And then what happens is only your friends, all right, only your friends can see your post. And then
Right.
if you're sharing the same thing all the time, then the only time someone different is going to find it is if someone else shares it that's not actually one of your friends. Like if you're one of your friends shares it and they share it to someone who's not connected to you, and so
Yep.
you really limit yourself. So So that's what she's writing right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And here's something that I found out too. If you make a public group in Facebook private, I don't think you can revert it back to a public group. I really don't think you can. There's no option to do it. I've actually tried that to keep spammers and people that want to buy, sell organs and things like that out of the group. And
Okay.
once I reverted it back to a private group from public, there's really no way to revert it back to a public group. And so you
Interesting.
got to keep that in mind when you're dealing. That's just for Facebook groups.
Uh-huh.
But like your private or your personal page, your Jared Brown, Jonathan Trailer, or even your business page. Let's say the Warriors Quest Show or Hope with Jonathan. You don't want to make those private. I mean, it's just gonna draw people away. It's not, and you're not going to be able to attract people very well when they go searching for you.
Amen to that. Exactly. And we want to
So
reach as many people as possible, right?
right,
So that's what she's talking about right here. And then she says right here, I totally understand the hesitation to let creep people stalk all over your profile, but keeping your Facebook personal page on private is basically asking for nobody ever to be able to figure out who you are. I mean, seriously, it's the difference between this and this. And she's showing the picture here, of course. Letting people view your personal Facebook page allows them to be able to see and find your personal page by hovering their mouse over your name in Facebook groups. If there's nothing there when the preview window pops up, I can't help but automatically assume that you don't have a business or even a blog. It's just blank, nothing.
right. So it becomes confusing at that point.
Yeah, very confusing.
Yep.
All right,
So
so here it is. Now she's going to give, like she's done in the past, what to do instead. So if you're seriously concerned about your safety and have dealt with serious stalker issues in the past, of course you can find and probably should choose to keep any and all information on your personal page private. Nobody's going to blame you for that, but it does mean that you'll have to work extra hard to get people to find out or to, be able to Google search you and stuff like that. So
exactly.
So people, please, let's get this more interactive. All right. I've got my twin brother commenting here. He's talking about how he's in time. He says, I've actually removed myself from several kidney disease groups because they don't allow for regular posting for kidney donor
Yep.
advocacy.
And
And,
yes, Jared, that
and
is so aggravating.
it, it's
It's like,
infuriating. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, it is. Because the name of their group says kidney disease and whatever else they have, involved. And here you are trying to post or try to advocate, and they won't allow the post in there. It's just aggravating. It really is.
Yeah. Well, and you would think that because they have kidney disease, so at one point maybe all right, he or she may have been looking for a donor, and so they may have some sort of I don't know, some understanding, right? All right, so we're going to go to the next slide. Um, so what do you guys? I'm going to ask a question here. All right, I'm going to go to the next slide, but I'm going to ask a question. So what do you guys think? All right. Again, it has been strategically a good marketing thing to link up with people with Facebook groups that are aligned with what you're doing. So kidney disease related things would be good, all right, to share your information because they can relate or they have an understanding and you've got common ground. However, my question is, and I'd like to hear your comments, everyone, is if we're if we're posting in kidney disease related Facebook groups, all right, is that are we just posting in groups where others are also looking for a kidney donor? And yes, they may be sharing, but are we really sharing it in productive Facebook groups if we're sharing it with people who are also struggling with kidney disease? So that's my question. I'd like to hear your feedback. So, um, Jeff saying this is the part of the problem. The majority of kidney disease groups claim to be for support, but don't support warriors in their search or pitch on the shares to find a donor. All right. So Kyle saying, and I'm not sure if you heard my question there, Jonathan. So my question is, and again, strategically in the past, all right, it's been a marketing strategy to share your information to Facebook groups that are in your same niche, right? So
Right.
kidney disease, because you have common ground, you have understanding, you can relate, so on and so forth. But my question is it really productive? Because yes, you can get it shared, all right, to many people. You can get it shared and they'll share it because they know what you may be going through. They can relate. But are you sharing it? Is it productive? Because are you sharing your need for a kidney donor to Facebook groups where people are also already looking for a donor and are also struggling? They're also on dialysis. So all right. So Philip Harris Jones Jr., thanks for watching. I want to give a special shout out to him. Shamika says, good point. Try to target public kidney groups that are allowing sharing. And Kyle says, yes, I think it's counterproductive. So thanks for your feedback, guys. And so it's a good question. And I'm not saying that it isn't productive. I just think we ought to be thoughtful, and put more thought into whether we do that regularly or if we only share to kidney, disease Facebook groups maybe once a week or twice every other week, if we're really trying to advocate for somebody who's trying to find a donor. Anyway, so again, continue to give me your thoughts and your comments, everybody. Shane Blanchard says, great show so far. So, Jonathan, what do you think about that question? Can you hear me okay, buddy? All right, I can't hear your audio. Your audio's off. I'm not sure why that's happening. So, so Philip, if you if you've heard the question, Philip, I'd like to maybe hear your answer to that. So that question is, people, is it really productive to share our post if we're advocating for a living kidney donor for yourself or for other people? All right, is it productive to share that post in kidney disease Facebook groups if those people in those Facebook groups are looking for a donor as well and they're on dialysis themselves? I'd like to know your feedback. I'd like to see your comment. I'd like to hear your feedback. All right. So this slide right here, Jonathan,
Yes,
it
sir.
reads, not listing your Facebook business page as your place of work. I found this interesting, and
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily totally in agreement with it, but it is insightful. And I don't personally do it, but I may actually do it after I've read this, but it is interesting.
I mean, you got to look at what you're doing as a labor of love, right?
It
I mean,
is. Yeah.
you're working. You may not get paid in a monetary way, but you're getting paid by in doing something positive, right? And seeing the effects of it. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
the benefits of that is amazing. And then if you see someone gets a kidney, whether it's by your show or maybe they were on your show, what greater reward? I mean, you can't buy that with gold, right?
Right.
I mean, there's no greater feeling than helping somebody.
Yes. So it's very gratifying when you help somebody. You're right.
Right.
And that's exactly what we want to try to do, is help other people. And so it is laborious because it is a form of labor. And so it is technically working. So it's not a bad idea. I hadn't thought of it that way because, I don't want necessarily someone to think that I'm making money doing this, because it is volunteer work for me. Plus,
Right.
people have given me donations, but
Sure.
it's not one of those things where this is my main source of income and I want your
The,
money.
right. The truth is, Jared, a lot of people don't realize how much time and effort goes in behind the scenes that on these podcasts and interviews that we do.
There's a work. Yeah,
And,
there's work.
there's work involved, and there is money that is involved. And you gladly pay it and to help benefit others. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with somebody wanting to give you a donation, or even if you
No.
put yourself out there and say, "Hey, I've got some merch or some things if you'd like to contribute or donate to us." I think it's a great thing to help out. So
It is. Shane Blanchard is reading, or he puts right here, what's laborious. So it's a when something's labor intensive, you know what it is. All right. So, but there is work.
yeah,
There's work involved, and then we are spending money to pay for things and stuff. But
right.
so it's not a bad idea, and I'd like to continue to hear everyone's thoughts about this. Is when you do have a Facebook page and or a nonprofit, have you put on your personal page your place of work as either your volunteer work or your nonprofit or so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
please comment below, and I'd like to hear your feedback.
Hey, Jared, if we don't mind, can I go back and answer the question that you wanted me to answer you?
Yes, absolutely.
Regarding advocating in kidney groups that are pretty much full of already kidney warriors.
Yes.
Either the problem is a lot of times those people that are inside that group are already either transplanted, kidney disease patient, newly diagnosed, on dialysis. So your likelihood of finding a donor in some of those kidney disease groups is very slim. Most of the people in there, like I said, have already either been transplanted, have kidney disease, or need a donor themselves. And so you're better off to maybe find some community groups. And, outside of posting to Facebook, there's many different ways that you can advocate for yourself other than posting inside of a kidney disease group. I mean, I'm a firm believer in flyers. Handing out flyers is huge, but I mean, I know that's
Okay.
another topic for another show. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But outside of it, as an alternative of posting in Facebook groups,
Uh-huh.
getting out in the street and hitting your local community. I know it's COVID time, but mask up and get out and put out there on community boards, hit up your local churches, local restaurants, community centers. I'm telling you, anywhere with a billboard, ask permission first, but you'd be surprised. They will allow you to put up these
Right.
posters. And
Mhm.
I'm telling you, I had people hit on my flyers in my local community. I had potential donors come from that. And I know it's hard to believe in 2021, but there are some great people out there that still step up and want to be a donor.
Yes, they do. There. If we think outside the box, I think we can be very creative with this. And so, let's think about different Facebook groups that we can share in. So
Sure.
Shamika had that question. What
Mhm.
are some other Facebook groups that would maybe share I don't know, be a good match or blend well with what we are trying to advocate or raise awareness for? She threw out fitness. That's not a bad idea. Fitness or
Yep.
health.
A lot of donors are into fitness. A lot of living donors. Some of them are athletes, so that's a great one.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to go to the next slide here. We're going to move forward. So the next slide right here reads, all right, another component of this is not to make the mistake of forgetting to include your website URL on your business page. It should be one of the first things a viewer sees on the right-hand sidebar of your page. So what do you think that she's saying this because it builds some credibility to your Facebook page if you have a website or URL there?
Absolutely. I mean, that's where you want everybody to go. That's
Uh-huh.
your, social media. You're dropping little droplets in there, and then the point is to drop the droplets to lead to your big drop, which is your website, right? And so
Right.
that's where all the information. That's the big drop of information. Is you want to get people to the website because you can only share so much before it's boring on Facebook, right? You don't want this huge long post of all this information. You just want to put your link and maybe a little bit of a post there and let people know where to go. And then once they go to that URL, then that's where you drop the big load of information. So without having that information there, that website, nobody's ever going to go to your website. I mean,
Right.
no, what's the point? What's the
Yeah,
point?
and they may not think you're legitimate either. You know,
Right.
it does bring some credibility.
And
So Verna, go ahead, Jonathan.
I was just going to say, if you don't have a website, then a great alternative is like a YouTube channel.
Yes,
put your YouTube channel link there.
Send them to your YouTube channel.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever link is informative, right?
Yes. Verna, I was just going to share. Verna is bringing some pretty good ideas here. I want to give a shout out to Verna Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for watching, Verna. She's saying religious groups, news media sites get their attention, and then we've my twin brother has mentioned Facebook groups where it's connected to your vicinity or your locale.
Absolutely.
So for example, Shane Blanchard is in Iowa. So for him, looking for a kidney donor, it may be in his best interest, and he's already done this, but I'm just using him as an example.
Sure.
Is to share to Facebook groups that are in Iowa. You know, one of the examples, okay, and I know it may sound a little silly, everyone, but it works, okay, is that there are free classified Facebook groups.
Yep.
All right. And if you don't think what we're doing when we're trying to find a donor is a form of selling, then you're wrong.
Yeah.
In a manner of speaking, it is selling. So do not feel guilty like you're trying to trick them. All right. Because it is a form of marketing when you're trying to find a donor.
It is. And you are in competition with many other people that need a kidney as well. So you do have to think about it in a marketing sense.
Yes. All right. So, find free classified Facebook groups.
Right.
All right. Find groups that are in your state, in and around your city. All right. Because the statistics have shown us that most of the living donors that apply to be donors are going to be someone who lives in your area, or at least in your state or a nearby state,
Sure.
That's what we've encountered anyway.
And if you're listed in multiple states, in multiple cities, find groups in those states, all of those states.
Yes. All right. So Kyle reads right here, join groups that you have an interest or hobby in, people with similar interest. It will come up soon, but be an active member about the hobby or interest before you start to talk about it. So,
and that's a great point.
Yes. Has to be genuine.
But here's the thing. I wouldn't always post every day that you need a kidney in there.
No.
I would interact with them and talk with them and talk about what you like. Like if it's bowling, a bowling group, let's just use bowling. I know.
Right.
But
get to know them.
If it's bowling, say, hey man, where do you bowl? And this is my average. And hey, I've been bowling for so many years. Interact within the group and engage within the group. And then once you get comfortable and they get to kind of know you, then maybe drop it in there and say, hey, I am looking for a kidney donor and I'm suffering with kidney failure. I'm on dialysis. I mean, you just never know. But dropping it right away is kind of, I don't know. It comes off a little
disingenuous.
Yeah.
Yes, so. Absolutely. Hey, look, Jonathan, shout out to James from Dadvice TV. He's watching right now, and it reads right here, agree 100% with being genuine and interacting to get them to know you before asking for a kidney. Yes, because
absolutely.
Because the people, it's really proven that the people who do become living donors it's because they've had a connection. They've built a connection. Yeah. And if there's no connection, then they're not going to feel inspired to do anything.
I 100% agree. I agree completely. You got to get that connection, that heartfelt connection. That's where you're going to get a donor from, making that heartfelt connection.
James put another comment here, and if you're a little bit behind, James, we're now discussing, and I'm going to give credit in my YouTube video, my YouTube description, about this blog that I read about how, what not to do in Facebook groups for mistakes, and it's by this blog. This author right here of the blog is Miranda Namias. So James, who's watching, James, specifically, I asked a question actually about, I don't know, what was it, like, I don't know, 8 or 10 minutes ago, maybe. But the question is it productive to post or try to advocate for a living kidney donor in kidney disease Facebook groups? And so I'm getting from you, James, that you're saying that it's not a good idea. There's no need to ask for a kidney when everyone else needs one. That's what James is saying. So he makes a good point, and it's good to be in those groups if there's support groups, because we all want to feel support and encouragement.
Absolutely.
But we may not. The chances are you may not find a donor in those groups.
Right.
It's frankly speaking.
Yeah. Kind of like a needle in a haystack there.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because yes, someone may share your post, and it may get actually, proliferated. It may send it out to, and be shared multiple times. That may happen but the chances of someone who's actually in that group, because they want to be a living donor, is very small, very slim.
Sure. That's one thing, Jared, that I find, a little bit that's a discredit, I guess, to the Facebook groups, is we have a hard time with people sharing, because sometimes that's the purpose of me putting posts in a Facebook group, is for people to take that post and actually move it and share it.
Yes.
But unfortunately, that fails a lot.
It does. And my question, all right, is do you think it does fall, flat, because they also need a kidney donor themselves, or does it become white noise? All right, for those that don't, hopefully everybody knows what I mean by white noise.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I grew up in the 80s, man. I know exactly what white noise is.
All right, good. All right, so do you know what I mean? It's like when you live by a train, all right, or an airport, right?
Yeah.
And you hear the same thing time and time again. All of a sudden, even though you hear it, you're really not paying attention to it anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just becomes repetitive and redundant, where it's just in your face too much, and it's white. It becomes white noise. Like, okay, I've seen it before. And on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all these feeds, people have the power in the thumb, and they're going to just go to the next post.
Yes. So. All right. So James here says, I think it just blends into the noise. It does. It especially when everyone else is in sort of the same boat, so to speak.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Verna Johnson. Sharing is caring. So thank you guys. Absolutely. I'm very happy for the comments. Let's keep this going, because I really think this can be very insightful for everyone.
One thing I do want to say is I still believe that you can find a donor on social media.
Absolutely.
Regardless. There are stories of people finding their donor. I've been seeing some people on TikTok. I know a girl personally that found her donor off of the app TikTok, just by doing her post on TikTok. And she actually found her donor from TikTok. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It does work, but we got to learn how to utilize it properly.
Yes. Absolutely. Do it more effectively and be smart. And we're gonna dive into that a little bit more, of some different ways to do that. So James, I love his comment. So I'm going to get into James's comment right here. Every living donor I have interviewed donated because of social media. And
awesome.
And I personally, not to pat myself on the back, but I've found donors for multiple people, and that they've donated, and I've had kidney warriors get a kidney transplant surgery myself from advocating. So I know it works because I've been a part of that. I've had one of my YouTube videos, someone watched it and decided or got inspired, all right, to donate for somebody from my YouTube video. And then I've had that happen from one of my Facebook posts, and so on and so forth. So I know it works. But people don't, Philip Thanks for your comment. Philip writes right here, people don't share in groups because they think immediately, well, I need a kidney. Why would I share that you need one for you to find one when it could be for me? Makes no sense to me. And he's right.
Yeah, he is right, and I agree with that statement. But on the flip side, I actually was sharing when I needed a kidney.
Yeah.
I totally believe that you can be blessed by helping other people, even though you're in need as well. I do
Right.
believe that you can be blessed with a donor, and in this community, I think it's a good thing to share for other people.
Absolutely. It is a good thing. And Shane Blanchard does a great job of doing that. And
Yeah,
Shane Blanchard is from Midwest Kidney Warriors, has been a great advocate. But I think that he's right. And that's why some people think that or feel
yeah.
that way. And so
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
I mean,
This
as
slide right here, and Kyle Hawkridge has talked about this previously.
mhm.
Not introducing yourself when you join a new group. Has this ever happened when you've been in a Facebook group? Has anyone ever immediately saw a new member, they didn't introduce themselves, him or herself, and all of a sudden they're posting? Has that ever happened? Or have you ever done it? Because I know I have.
Yeah, I've done it many times. I've done it many times, and I'm sure people are like, "Man, who is this guy? Who is
Yeah.
this guy doing this Hope with Jonathan stuff?" I mean, this is rude. This is coming out of left field.
It does come across that way to them. Right.
Yeah,
And so it's very important that we try to think that way before we post. Try to think
yeah,
about how it's going to come across.
yeah.
So James puts right here, each one I have seen was from someone who shared a story about something someone was doing that happens to need a kidney, such as a person doing a local fundraiser for a different cause. I like that.
Yeah, that's great.
And Shamika's guilty. Yeah, we're all guilty. We've all done it. So,
Yeah, we've all done it.
Philip says, I need one now, and I'm sharing and advocating for people every day. And he is a great advocate. Philip, thank you for what you do.
Shout out to Philip Jones,
Yes.
man. He's a great advocate. This man has his own show as well, Second Chance Podcast.
Yes, Second Chance. Please check it out. He's a great advocate.
Yeah.
Does a lot for the community, the transplant community.
Him and Tafaro Cook.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yep,
Those guys are great.
Yeah.
So right here, not introducing yourself when you join a new group.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, everyone, that the algorithm can be your friend. And I know that may sound in some cases like an oxymoron, because sometimes we all get infuriated with the algorithm. All right.
Absolutely.
Man, they changed it again, and
Yeah.
just when we think we understand it, and
Yep.
we think we've got a good technique, and all of a sudden they tweak it again, right? Well,
Yeah.
it can still be your friend, but remember that Facebook has created Facebook groups for people to get together with like-mindedness, right? For
Right.
things they have in common. All right. They even have commercials now about Facebook groups, right?
Right. Yeah. Facebook is one that's really guilty about changing the algorithm on you really quickly. And so, yeah, you have to stay on top of Facebook. Absolutely.
Yes. And also keep in mind that if you have a Facebook page, all right, that even though many of us may have created it because we're advocating, or we have a nonprofit, or this, that, or the other, but for the most part, they're set up for businesses.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so keep that in mind as well. I know it can be frustrating sometimes, but because we can almost seem like the little fish in a big pond, because we're not a big business that has the big pockets to pay for the ads.
Yeah, you have to pay to play on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's the way they make their money. They're making their money off of the marketing, for sure.
Yes, but we're going to talk about some other methods to help you guys continue to be effective, though. So right here, we want to introduce ourselves when we do join a new Facebook group. If it's genuinely a new Facebook group that you've never joined before, take time to introduce yourself and be genuine. All right. Don't just do it just because it's a routine. Really get to know the people. Kyle Hawkridge talked about it before, is have some get to know their hobbies and interests, and have conversations, because real conversations can really hold merit. They really can. They can go a
Absolutely.
long way.
Yeah. That personal connection and having that real conversation to realize that you're not just some person looking
Yeah,
for a kidney. You're
right.
actually you have a story. And once someone connects with that story, they're gonna want to step forward and help you. Absolutely.
Yes. So, and we're going to go to the next slide here. So, what to do instead? All right. So, when you join a Facebook group, all right, I'm just showing this as an example. No, I guess I can put in a plug. This is one I'm an admin for, Kidney Donor Awareness. So, if you're not already a member of Kidney Donor Awareness, you can join this Facebook group. All right. And so, my twin brother and I had originally formed this group so that we could share stuff for people that are looking for a kidney donor. And so um, we had started it because had become somewhat frustrating for us when we did share in other kidney disease Facebook groups. When we got, I guess they, I don't know, put shackles on us, or or handcuffs, whatever you want to call it. And
Facebook
that,
jail.
yeah, and so we formed this so that we could have a little more flexibility, because we were the admins and so on and so forth, and we've been able to grow this where we have like over 2.7 thousand members now. And so uh, again, I'm not plugging this because it's going to be more in your favor to share to other groups where other people aren't necessarily looking for a kidney donor. But if you want to become a member of this is still a great place to share your information, because many of them are already looking for a donor as well, but they'll share it. And then there's also support and encouragement. All right. So when you join this group, though, you want to be able to introduce yourself. So, Shamika, Shane, Philip, anybody else who may still be watching, please comment below what you've done to introduce yourself when you've become a member of a new Facebook group. All right, so Jonathan, we're going to go to the next slide here.
Sure.
All right, so this is I got this from Mari Smith. Oh, let me go back. All right, where did we go? I accidentally went too far. We're going to go back just one more. Here we go. So this is from Mari Smith, and I got this, all right, because I wanted to show another method, all right, to get your post and video shown. So it used to be, all right, so back in 2007, all right, so back in 2007, Twitter, all right, was the first outlet to start the hashtag. All right, we're going to talk about hashtags right here. And I got this information from Mari Smith, and I'm going to give her credit in my YouTube video. But Shane's saying, I just say thank you for accepting me. And that's okay. As long as it's genuine, then I think that's a good way too. And then Kyle reads, he says right here, just write a comment, just text. Do something to introduce yourself. Hey, thank you for adding me. I appreciate it.
Right.
I live in Hooper, Utah. I live in Kerrville, Texas, whatever. And just briefly introduce yourself.
Right.
So hashtags. Does anybody know why Twitter created the hashtag? You can Google it now too. That's allowed. So, while I'm waiting for that answer, Kyle has given us another comment here. Thanks for your comment. My name is Kyle. I thank you for accepting me. I look forward to interacting and learning from this group. I like that because it's saying, that I'm going to be interactive. I'm not just going to be, a bystander. I'm actually going to be participating. I like that. Shamika says, I normally just start commenting. I like that. So commenting on a post means that you're going to find common ground. So that's good. All right. So in this post by Mari Smith, all right, she's talking a little bit about, all right, how hashtags came to be. All right. And one of the things that she said is that in 2007, all right, somebody who works for Twitter came up with the hashtag, all right, so that they could find another way to broaden reach on a post. And so he came up with the idea with the pound symbol. All right, pound and then the topic. All right, so pound and the topic to help broaden someone's reach as long as it's topic related. All right, if it's topic related and it's pertinent, relevant, then it's going to help get you more reach. All right, so you can easily discover what hashtags are in use on Facebook by typing in the search bar on either the desktop or mobile app, just like on Instagram. So Facebook really introduced the hashtag a while ago. I think it may have been in 2000. I may be off, but I think they introduced it maybe in 2014, maybe 2016. However, it really didn't do much to broaden your reach until last year. All right. So, last year is when the hashtag became more productive. Shane Blanchard reads, I love 3Jet. Or hashtag I love 3Jet. So it became more relevant to Facebook because of the pandemic. All right. Fundraising. All right.
Right.
And so Facebook decided to make it more relevant just last year. All right.
Yeah.
And so especially now, we're now in year 2 of when the hashtag on Facebook is now more applicable. It means more. And they're now trying to match what Instagram does with the hashtag, which makes it more exciting because it's, if we can make Facebook's algorithm with the hashtag more pertinent and applicable, then it's going to be exciting for creators like all of us.
Yeah.
So as you can tell right here, Jonathan, you can see this little picture I added here from Mari Smith. But when she's doing a post and she does a hashtag, their idea here is that it's going to be similar to Instagram, where as you start typing, it's going to populate certain things.
Right.
Have you noticed that before?
Oh, yeah. I've noticed it many times. And you got to think of hashtagging like categories. They're almost like links. It's a category that other people are posting as well. So the more people post on that hashtag, then it's going to draw you into that same category or community of people. So it works really well on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, I haven't seen a lot that it works very well in Facebook, but I think it works better in Instagram and Twitter. Of course, Twitter is the original spot of the hashtag.
They created it, yeah.
But it's also working well in YouTube's platform as well, as a search engine, as people begin to search on YouTube and and look for videos. That hashtag will pull people in. And so you got to think of them like categories or communities. So if you're in the kidney disease community, that's a good hashtag to use if you're in the kidney disease, or if you're, kidney failure is a great one, and just different ones. Kidney failure, stones, kidney stones is a good one if you're suffering with kidney stone. I mean, so you have to think of the category and it helps specify your post in a certain category.
Right. So we're getting some really good comments here, as you can see the feed here on the screen, Jonathan. So, Kyle says Facebook about 5 hashtags is good. He's giving a suggestion of around 5 hashtags. So he's actually very accurate. Is that in this post from Mari Smith? She's talking about this as well, is that you want to, on an average with Facebook, not Instagram, okay? Not Instagram, but she's saying that on Facebook, it will allow you to do, all right? It will allow you to do, I think maybe, oh my gosh, about 30, but it becomes detrimental because, again, try to remember that Facebook is still kind of in its infancy of making the hashtag productive.
Right.
All right. And so let's not get crazy, but do some tests, but right now, what we've learned is about 3 to 5 hashtags on Facebook is good. And so he's right, but do some tests. maybe do 10 hashtags on one post. And then when you share it again on another one, maybe you only do 3 and then do 5, do some tests.
Right.
Anyway,
that's great advice.
yes. And Instagram obviously is been using it. It's more effective on Instagram. And so everyone, okay, Facebook is still king. Let's not take the crown off, but let's not forget, all right, that Instagram and Twitter are very effective to share information and to get awareness and to look for people. TikTok as well. All right. So especially when it's just been recent, all right, that Facebook was down and Instagram is owned by Facebook. All right. What happens? What happens if that happens again? In fact, I heard in some cases there was an outage on Friday again. Yeah. I didn't notice it, but I heard there was another outage on Friday.
Yep. And that's a great point, Jared. Like a lot of warriors are just on Facebook. They're utilizing Facebook groups, but there are other platforms that you can utilize as well for your advocacy. Instagram, and another great missed one is Twitter.
Yes.
And I don't see a lot of warriors that are in need. There's a lot of them on there, but some are not utilizing it as a platform, and it still is out there, and it's still just as effective as any of the other platforms. Like you said, Facebook is king for now, but
it is.
Twitter is still a great platform to use, and like you said, the new one, TikTok, that a lot of people are using. Is another great one. And you can use hashtags.
You can use the hashtags there, and they're very applicable, right? So, and so, that we've got some illustrations right here. Shane from Midwest Kidney Warriors is putting some hashtags here, and so I've found that kidney disease is a very pertinent and very relevant hashtag. Hashtag kidney disease. Yes. Hashtag dialysis. Yes. Hashtag kidney transplant.
Yeah.
One of them that I found, all right, that's very applicable, that's ranked really high is hashtag transplant. That one is extremely effective and the other one that's nearly just as high as far as ranking is hashtag donor. Yeah. And so I've found that sometimes the ones that only have like a shorter term, like donor or transplant, instead of saying kidney donor or kidney transplant, sometimes they'll have a higher ranking because they're searched more, if you know what I mean.
Another good one is kidney failure, which that one's pretty high.
Yes, it is.
And another one, believe it or not, and this is a 3-word one, is kidney disease symptoms.
Yes.
Kidney disease symptoms. That one's a huge one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And hashtag kidney disease problems. That's another good one.
Kidney disease problems. Yep.
Yes. So we're here. I'm reading some comments here as they're coming in. You can't keep all your eggs in one basket. Absolutely right. Absolutely. I love that, Shamika. I love that. Great. And Kyle has put in his comment here. The highest ranked kidney term is hashtag kidney failure. So it's a great term. Yeah. All right. So we've got some great comments here. So remember, as Facebook is continuing to kind of evolve and have their hashtag become more applicable like Instagram, continue to do your own test and try to find out how it's working for you. But this is another way to be effective and get your posts seen. And if I can point fingers in any way, all right, everyone, I just don't see the hashtags on people's posts often enough. I really don't. I don't. All right. And so please take advantage of putting a hashtag. And I'm going to go to the next one here, but I think Mari puts right here, and I apologize that it's so small reading here, but she's saying that she also says that it's more applicable to put it at the bottom. This is a little bigger here so we can read this. Yeah. So how many hashtags should you include in your Facebook post? So as many as you want, all right, you can, all right. But in Facebook, we just kind of we've gone over this already. So this is a little bit of a review. We kind of stepped ahead, but that's okay.
No, that's where I put mine. I put them all at the bottom, unless it's YouTube.
Yes.
In the description, I put up to 3. at the top of my description because it goes on your post and it helps carry it.
Yes, and Kyle brings he made a really good comment here, and I like how he shared the keyword tool for a free hashtag search tool. Thank you for sharing that tool there, Kyle. So he's saying that if you are in search for a kidney hashtag, your city, your town, state, province, because Kyle's in Canada,
Yeah,
should be your hashtag. All right, and so that's
great tip.
it is a great tip because
Mm-hmm.
again, statistically, living donors generally come from someone within your area, vicinity, or region. That's
Right.
just what the stats tell us.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so the next slide we've got here is let me see if that's the last one. That may be the last one. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, so people. All right. So, all right, we're all guilty of this. We are. All right. I know
Yeah.
we all have because
Yeah.
I've been tagged. I've tagged you. I've tagged other people. And so this is something that recently I've tried to stop and I've tried to not do. But okay, don't tag people on Facebook. If you're still doing it, please stop.
You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be
No.
that guy.
No, because I put actually the wording right here, time wasted that you don't get back, is actually from me and not from the from my blog that I read. But
Yeah.
the photo credits from jbaldwin.com. The site also has a nice post on the details of tagging etiquette, and I'll give credit in my description of my YouTube video later. But don't tag people on Facebook, people. All right, please don't, because number one, it's annoying if you're not in the photo. All right. And even if you are in the photo, I would encourage you to ask permission before you do it,
Right.
because it's good etiquette to say, hey, you're in this photo. May I please tag you?
Right.
Because chances are, if you are really in the photo and you don't tag them, they're either going to tag themselves or Facebook is going to say, is this you? And they're side note, by the way, all right, just very quickly, is that one time that happened, well, multiple times, but one time it happened, okay, to my twin brother, where Facebook said, "Is this you? Do you want to tag yourself?" And guess what? It was a photo of me and my son, and it wasn't Jeff at all. It was a picture of me. So
That's
Facebook,
funny.
yeah, so Facebook could not distinguish me from my twin brother. Little joke there. That's funny.
Yeah.
But
It's
anyway,
funny. It's happened to me too, Jared, with my son. That Facebook will ask me, "Is this you?" And I'm like, "No, that's my son." So I
it's
say,
your
"No."
son. Okay, that's
Yeah.
happened to you and your son.
Yeah,
That's funny.
it's happened. It's happened many times.
Yeah, so keep in mind, people, that we want just like in a Facebook group, kidney disease is a community, and we want to build a strong, united community. And if you tag somebody without their permission, all right, they can still indeed remove themselves from the tag. But if multiple people are doing this every day, all right, when people are doing this multiple times per day, I really mean when, because they do.
Yeah.
And when I remove myself, it takes time out of my day.
Right.
All right. And if multiple people are doing it and I'm having to remove myself multiple times, it's just time out of my life I can't get back.
Right.
All right. And so it's annoying to people. If it may be an annoyance to me, it may be annoying to someone else in the community. And the reason why it's annoying is, number one, it can seem like spam. Number two is that it takes my privilege away from sharing.
Yes.
Does that make sense? It's like when you automatically tag me, it's already showing up on my feed.
Right.
And so it's almost like you're forcing me to share it without asking me or encouraging me to share.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that proper etiquette would be to ask people or send them a message and say, "Hey, I'd like to tag you in this," and send them the post or send them the video or picture.
Yes.
And say, "Hey, do I have permission?" Because it does come off quite rude, and especially if you get 10 of them a day, it's pretty it gets pretty overwhelming at some
It
point,
can be.
especially if they're videos, and then you got to sit
Yes.
there and really watch the video and make the, and answer the question of, do I really want this on my page? I mean,
Right.
do I, so.
All right. So that's the end of the slideshow. But what I'd like to do is I'm going to cover it kind of as a summary. All right. So as a summary, I'm gonna share it just one more time, but we're just gonna go over I'm gonna go over here we go, the table of contents again. Okay. So let me go back. So I'm gonna summarize again what we've talked about. All right. So again, number one, posting the same thing into multiple groups. All right. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna summarize that again. If you are going to share the same thing, either do it in intervals, all right, so that you're not doing it in such a short amount of time that it's coming up on your feed and someone else's feed very where it's showing up as spam. So do it in intervals, like maybe share it in one Facebook group in 1 hour, and then do
Mm-hmm.
it in another one in another hour. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do it in intervals.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would even encourage you to change the photo. Okay. Change the photo and
Mm-hmm.
then change the wording if you can too. Change it a little bit because again, the algorithm can be your friend. And if you're changing the photo and then changing the words here and there, you can actually have it look different and the algorithm won't see it as identical.
Hey Jared.
Yes.
How many Facebook groups would you suggest to make the same post in?
Well, um,
I would think maybe around, like you said, the largest ones with the biggest numbers to hit first, and I would say
yes.
up to 5 would be maybe acceptable.
Up to five. Up to five wouldn't be a bad idea, and I like that. So another thing that I've done recently, and I didn't do it today, but like when I create a video and I make a thumbnail,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm sharing that same thumbnail and I'm streaming Urban Health Outreach Media YouTube channel, and
Right.
then I'm simultaneously streaming to the Jared A. Brown with the
Mm-hmm.
Warriors Quest Show YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
my thumbnails, I create two different thumbnails for each channel. Now it's going to be the same stream, okay? But they're going to be two different photos, and I've been doing that recently, except for today.
Yeah.
And so that way, again, if someone's streaming through and they've subscribed to both channels, if they see the same thumbnail, it can be deceiving as well. Does that make
Right.
sense?
No, it
Yeah.
makes total sense. It makes great sense, and I think you're great. I think it's awesome that you're doing that, and I think it's a great idea, especially if you're posting to multiple platforms.
Yes. So keep in mind, so if you're an admin on several pages or several Instagram accounts, on each one of my Facebook pages, I also have an Instagram account that's a business account. All right. So this has kind of been long, so I appreciate everyone who's stayed here. If you have a Instagram account, all right, make it a business Instagram account.
Yeah.
Because much like a Facebook page, you can actually do ads and you can,
Yep.
pay some money to get your post seen. It just
And it's
makes more
so
sense.
quick and easy to do.
Yeah.
So quick.
Right. So
Yep.
if you're doing if you're advocating for yourself or for other people, make your Instagram account a business account.
Right.
You're not doing yourself a favor if you haven't done that already. But anyway, if you have multiple Instagram accounts and then you're sharing the same link and the same thumbnail about your show, the same thing is going to happen on your Instagram feed. It's going to show the same thumbnail and it's going to show the same thing and it's going to look spammy to some people as well. So try to keep that in mind. And if you've got several pages, several Instagram accounts, then try to make them look different. make a different photo for one page, even though it's the same
I'm
stream or same show.
I'm turning red over here, Jared.
Hey, again, disclaimer. I'm guilty just as much as everybody here. Okay. Because I've done it too. I did it today because I didn't, I got lazy and I didn't make a different thumbnail today.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Kyle Hawkridge, he's got a comment here I want to read. I like it. I just want to offer a hand, not to take away from Jared or Jonathan. This information is 1,000% correct. But if anyone has any question or needs a hand, I have a degree in social media management. Offer the kidney community 100% free advice. Please reach out if you have questions. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you so much. With his information, he can give you maybe even some more insight that I haven't already given tonight. So please reach out to him. And a lot of what we've been talking about, he's added great insight tonight. He's been a great asset in the comments section. So thank you. And thank you, Shamika, Shane. Thank you, James from Dadvice TV. Shane, I've already said Shane. Steve Belcher, Jeffrey A. Brown, my twin brother. I know I'm leaving out some other people, Jonathan. Can you help me shout out some other people? I know there are some other people.
Philip Jones from A Second Chance showed up. So
Verna Johnson.
Yeah. And everybody that showed up, man, we really appreciate the support. This was kind of just a quick little thing that we got together, and Jared asked me to co-host. So I just want to say I appreciate you asking me to come on tonight, and I love the new platform that you're using. It's really cool. So appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. Honestly, as what you do and what you have done for the kidney disease community is highly impactful, and I appreciate it, honestly. And so much love and respect for what you do and what what you continue to do, man. I'm proud of you.
It all started with interviews on your show. So huge shout out to Jared Brown and the Warriors Quest show for helping me get started and continuing to be a huge influence on me. So I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, brother. And we've got Jen Benson joining in. So Jen, man, mad respect for Jen Benson as well.
Transplant Journey.
Yes, Transplant Journey. So if you haven't watched, please watch the replay, please, Jen Benson. This has been a great interactive, a lot of comments and just a lot of good insight that we've shared, some good nuggets about how to share more effectively in Facebook groups so that we don't get banned. All right, stay out of trouble.
Yeah. They'll put the cuffs on you.
Exactly. No more handcuffs. Right.
Yeah.
And no more shackles and handcuffs for us. Shamika says, great show, guys. Thank you for your support, Shamika. Yeah. Thank you.
God bless.
God bless you. So thank you everybody for watching. Please don't be stingy. All right. Smash that share button.
Yeah.
All right.
So smash it.
That's right. All right. So thanks, Jonathan, man. Thank you for co-hosting, man. I know this was spur of the moment, so I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. I'm sorry about the internet interruptions. I dropped a couple of times.
No worries at all. No worries at all.
Yeah.
Man, that's it happens, and that's why we've got, that's why I've got the gift of gab, if you know what I mean. I just roll with it, and keep talking. But
oh yeah, you're a pro, Jared. You're a pro.
Yeah, thanks, man. So. Hey, by the way, do you see the cube behind me? What do you think of that, bro?
Oh, that is too awesome, man. It's just floating and spinning. It's got your face on it. Who else? Oh, the U Home, or is that Warriors Quest?
Yeah, U Home, and then I've got the Warriors Quest background, the Warriors Quest logo. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I thought I was tripping there for a minute, but no, it's there. So I'm glad you pointed that out. I was going to ask you later. It's like I seen it spinning, but I wasn't sure. So, but it's cool. So, it's a cool
thanks,
effect.
Man. Yeah. If anybody else likes the spinning cube, 3D cube, please comment below and let me know what you think of that. I'm trying to be creative and add different things to catch people's attention.
Oh, you're always on the cutting edge, Jared. So.
Oh, thanks, bro. All right, man. Well, mad respect again. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and thanks for co-hosting, Jonathan.
All right, no problem, Jared. Anytime.
You're welcome. All right, I'm gonna find the outro now, man. I had it underneath some paperwork here. Hold on. I think I found it. All right, here it is. Hold on. All right, outro.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Sound right, boy.
It sound right, boys.